Thank you, Governor Shapiro, for that warm welcome. Thank you to my neighbor, Miss Lorraine, who 9 years ago, when on a real whim, honestly, I was giving myself a heat-free October. That's all it was. You know, anybody who's always known me before this job especially, every 6 weeks on 60th Street, I had a fresh perm. I saw Miss Marquita routinely because it was no other way to go into court, Senator Hughes. I mean, I was already fighting for people's lives, literally. So I thought, and it was my understanding, for me to have the respect of the judge and of the jury, that I needed to look a certain way every single day. My clients, my colleagues at the Defender, they never saw anything that you all see now. They probably shocked, like, what happened to her? She lost her flat irons? Is her power's on in the house? What's going on? But I'll tell you, 9 years ago, it was on a whim that I said, I'm just gonna have a heat-free month, and I'll see where it takes me. And it wasn't supposed to take me anywhere except back to my stylist at the time the next month. But somehow a neighbor of mine, and I tell him this when I see him, he says, you know, your hair looks really nice like that. You don't have to wear it straight. And it was that conversation at 61st in Baltimore that gave me the confidence to try something new for myself. And I had no idea at the time that there would ever be an opportunity to change the law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'll tell you, and may she continue to rest in power. The biggest critic, Governor, was my granny. My granny said, now, what's your constituents say about all of this? That's right. And I'll tell you, my mother, when I left the house, said, now, what's this law really going to do? How is it going to really help people, and how is it going to change things in Pennsylvania? And I had to run because I was a little late. But Mom, if you're watching, this is going to help people by making sure that wherever you work or wherever you're applying for a job, they can't look at your hair and size you up, not based on your qualifications and all of the professional development you have and all of your education. They will not look at your hair and decide you can't work here. That's right. They will not look at your hair and decide you don't belong in this C-suite. Right. They will not look at your hair and say you can't be in the boardroom. Right. So I don't know if the headlines get to heaven, but if they do, I hope my grandmother gets to see this moment. Because this is an exciting time. And I'll tell you, when my colleagues made that vote, I didn't do like all the men speakers ahead of me and hold on to my bills. I say that in the mic. Because that's what they did. Right. Many times we voted on prior speakers' legislation. Right. I understood that I had been working with Representative at the time, State Rep Summer Lee. She's now in Congress. I tell you, I've been working with her for a while, but when we had a trailblazer elected from West Philly, but in Pittsburgh, Representative Latasha D. Mays, a woman that I had worked with for so long, on important issues like dignity for incarcerated women, Representative Cephas, on important issues like reproductive justice, on important issues like the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. I said, I'm not going to be greedy. You all already gave me a big job with a lot of work. I want to make sure I pass the baton to someone who is going to do the work. And I'll tell you, Tiffany, I thought we had done something with our presser in 2022. You know, it was all cool. We had the signs. But ma'am, Representative Mays stepped it up a notch all the way. She hit the gas. She developed the Crown Act Coalition. Every time I saw her, she said, when are you coming back to Pittsburgh? Because we're going to have another event. I said, another one, Rep Mays? I mean, my schedule a little tight. You know, I got things to do when I go all the way out. She's like, no, we're going to organize this and we're going to do it. And I am so very proud of the coalition she built, and they could not all fit here, so we will be back for another celebration. Don't be slighted if you came up in March with us and held a sign. We're coming back for you with a bigger location in Harrisburg, Governor. And in Pittsburgh. You're going to stay on the road with this one. Just put it out there. But we are excited. So I just wanted to bring my goddaughter here, Laurel Sarai, because for a long time, she's been on my screensaver, and the governor's my witness. We were having a discussion where there were no cameras and no press and no people. And I said, this is Laurel. She wears beautiful locks. And before she's old enough to apply for a job, I hope we can change the law in Pennsylvania. That was just 3 weeks ago. You know, people ask what changed, what happened. I'm not going to say what happened, but Laurel, you had to be here because you were a part of my advocacy and reaching across the building.